Yes, you're still onto the economy today, and today we want to look at a very interesting topic. The topic is based on the past election, the election that everybody had to vote, to select a leader, and that's the presidential election for 2023. Now, the inauguration or the final handing over to the president will be in May 29. But after May, what will happen to the economy? That's the expectation of Nigerians, is that things would actually come, leave where it is now and move up so that Nigerians will enjoy the benefits of good governance. I hope that will happen. We all wish that that will happen. So I have with me in the studio a political analyst, somebody who is also a politician, but does things in the real estate also, Joseph Folarin. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yes, I addressed you as a political analyst. You're a politician, I would always say, yes. 2023 now, we'll be having the inaugurations, very soon. That's by May 29. Though Nigerians are expecting a whole lot of things.
Absolutely.
There are a lot of things that is happening to the economy at present. Nigerian GDP is nowhere to be, nothing to be written home about. Everything seems to be on the low. The economy itself, it seems to be nosediving almost every other time. Okay. So what are the expectations from the incoming government? What do you think people are really expecting, and how will that government give it to them?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think the expectations are high, most especially for the electorate who voted in the party into power. It says a lot that much is expected from the government, from the incoming government, to address the lingering issues in the economy. I can address the unemployment rate, the poverty rate, and also how we can ensure that our economy creates more room to attract foreign direct investment. I think it's very, very important. And the only way it can go is it needs to kickstart the economy. And how do you kickstart it? By ensuring that you select men of capacity to manage our economic affairs, from economic planning to the finance, and also to the CBN in terms of monetary policy, formulating monetary policy, and also ensuring that the monetary policy and the fiscal policy are working in the same direction, not at cross parallel to one another. I think this is very, very critical going forward for the incoming administration.
Very, very critical. Now, let us speak this, I will not say sectors now, these challenges, one after the other. Unemployment. No, first of all, poverty. Yeah. Poverty seems to be growing at a very high rate now. A lot of people can't even afford a 3 square meal a day. Some can't even afford 2. Some can't even afford 1. Yeah, it is going on and on like that. So, attending to poverty, first of all, what exactly do you think the government should do?
Okay, first thing first, I feel more attention needs to be given to the SMEs, because due to some policies of this outgoing government, years from SME were unable to withstand the pressures, the policy somersault on the part of the government. Cast your mind back to the border closure, the forest inconsistency. So you can look at these issues also, and insecurity also. You can't rule out that far also, and not forgetting the CBN redomination of our new naira also created anxiety, and also some businesses were unable to withstand the pressure, the shocks. So of course, what needs to be done now is government needs to look at their policy. How can we enable business to survive? How business can attract loans at reasonable interest rates to keep them alive, to expand their operation. And also you look at power. We can't talk about business operation without talking about the cost of doing business, which is power is very critical, especially for some small business, because much of the money I expended into power, sourcing power, fueling their generators said, the diesel. And look at the cost of diesel at the moment now, over 800 naira plus. So of course, which business will even survive in this kind of harsh economic environment? Okay, let's talk about also, not forgetting about the inconsistent tax, indirect tax. These SMEs are being faced.
I mean, there are different kinds of tax. Even the tax from the normal agbiros,
it's
killing.
not even captured by government.
Yes, it's
which
not
is
captured.
going to divert it into private hands. So these are the issues that this government really need to look at. That. So every business should even know okay, if you are paying just 2 tax, okay, let's know that this tax is channeled towards, is going to the government coffers, and government also is using it to even expand the economic space, to attract more investment, also to fix some infrastructural deficit we are still facing in the country. From the road infrastructure, you talk about power, like which I pointed out also, and also you talk about security also. Because there are some areas in part of Nigeria also where it is inaccessible, and where some farms are, where local manufacturers also try to source raw materials from, which at the moment now are unable to be accessed. These are the issues we government, the incoming government really need to address. It's very, very important.
Something happened in this outgoing election government actually, and when they came in, it took some time before the ministers were called in. It took almost a year before people were started to say what is happening and all that, and the economy seems to have dragged. Are you in any way, do you foresee this kind of thing happening again, or do you see that when they bring in ministers on time, will things move up on time? Will that work? Is there any way that bringing in people at a very right time, that's the right time, will work? Do you think it will work?
Yeah, I think the incoming administration needs to learn from the mistakes of the past administration. Yeah, over 9 months was wasted without appointing ministers to man sensitive position, and also this posture sends a wrong signal to foreign investors about the seriousness of the administration. Because if this new administration can put its house in order and send the nominees to the National Assembly for confirmation, for screening, I think it will go a long way. It will signify that, okay, this government is trying to do things quite different from this present government, and it's charting a new course, and also setting a favorable policy that will ensure that, okay, things get better, we will attract more foreign direct investment also, and more money will be expended towards capital expenditure that will have effect on the economy.
Now, let's talk about that now. We're going to talk about the policies now. Every time governments reel out different kinds of policies. And we know policies are more like documents, right. Directions that people should be taken. But then maintaining those policies, following those documents has always been a problem. Then the issue of budget. You talked about capital expenditure.
Yes.
One of the main expenditures that we always have is the recurrent expenditure, which is the salaries and the rest of them, which is not supposed to be at all. So what will be your advice to this government now on policies and maintaining policies, and also going to capital expenditures instead of recurrent expenditures?
Yeah, the issue now that there have been calls about civil service restructuring, reforming, because we hear that the civil service is overbloated and is inefficient to even implement government policy, because no matter how good the government policy is, we still need some drivers to ensure that it is implemented to the latter. So there's need for us to holistic look at the civil service. How can we reform the civil service? Because there are some tasks that even need to be carried out that we don't even need to outsource a consultant expert. If you have an efficient civil service that will implement government policy, I think this is very, very important. There's need for us to rejig the civil service. And also, there are talks about streamlining the number of persons in the civil service also, just to reduce cost, so that we can divert more money into more funds into capital expenditure. This is very, very important also. If we want to move in a different direction, want to move in a different direction from this present direction, because with this present direction we know how it led us, how it delivered massive unemployment, poverty rate, and what have you. So there's need for this incoming government to do things differently, reform the civil service, ensure that you plug holes in our government revenue through curbing the corruption. We've been hearing issues about some money unaccounted for, like today in the dailies also, that the National Assembly is trying to summon the finance minister over $2.5 billion. Also, just like this plugging of leakages in government revenue is very, very important also, because we need more money.
Let's go for a very short break. I know you are hot right now, so we can continue our discussion. So we are still discussing here is 2023 presidential elections has come and gone, and inaugurations will come on soon, but the expectations of Nigerians on the economy is what is expected, is what people are actually willing to know. What will be the outcome of this coming administration? What are they going to bring? What are they bringing to the table? Well, I'll go for a very short break and I'll be right back with more. Yes, we are still here, and I'm still discussing with Joseph Folarin, a political analyst, discussing what expectations, the expectations of Nigerians after the 2023 election, what they will be expecting, what the new administration is bringing to the table, that will be favorable to Nigerians. Yes, you were talking about civil service reformation and all of that. Then we talked about government spending more on capital expenditure instead of recurrent expenditure. Most of the money that have been loans that have been collected are used for recurrent expenditure. So it is not even accounted for. It is not yielding anything back into the economy.
That's right.
And there is this issue of cancelling subsidy, total subsidy removal. What is your advice on that?
First and foremost is that subsidy is not wrong, but what is the transparency in managing the subsidy? I think that is very, very critical. I think what needs to be done now, the outright removal of subsidy will spell doom for Nigerians, and it will lead more people to poverty. And so what can the government do differently? I think at the moment now, we need to fix our refineries. Let's put them.
So first of all, the government must fix the refineries.
Fix our refineries.
And then we'll now go straight to say, okay, let's remove the subsidies after the fixing
I
of
will
the
not go for an
refineries.
outright removal. Maybe a phase removal. Maybe in phases, we can go through the first phase. Take 30% lay off from it. Okay, maybe after 6 months, and government will look at the effect the impact on the people. Because no matter how good a policy is, if it has an hazard effect on the people, of course, no reasonable government should continue with it. So there's need for us to move gradually, because that will create unnecessary anxiety, because the new government needs stability to even implement some of their campaign promises, policies being formulated. I think that's very important. So there's need for us to ensure that our refinery is working optimally to meet our daily consumption. Because another issue is also is that, okay, as at this moment there's no accurate number of consumption of fuel, PMS. We don't even have an actual number of
people who consume
millions of liters consumed daily. Sometimes
daily.
we hear 47 million, others we hear 42. So there's need for us to carry an audit, and also there are reports also that most of our food also are taken outside the shores of Nigeria to be to our neighboring countries.
I even heard recently that this subsidy is not just for Nigeria; it's for even where our fuel gets to. Some in Niger, Chad, the Cameroon and some other places where, some, not Cameroon, but some other countries that Nigeria is subsidizing for them also. And so that is why we're having all these issues. Like you said, subsidy, removing the subsidy is, subsidy is not bad. But the issue is the management. Now, how can that management be corrected? Because it is also going to be part and parcel of what this government is going to be faced. Okay. Because the issue of insecurity, subsidy removal are the very core things that people will be looking out for to say, what is the government actually going to do about them? Now, you talked about the subsidy. Insecurity in Nigeria seems to be at a very heightened rate. Now, we have kidnapping, everything. People can't even walk out at night. You advised the other day, my child just went out to buy something, and 30 minutes after that, she's supposed to come in. I was already thinking, oh, where did she? Yeah. She should come back on time. It's just from here to there. It's not whether she had to take transport for the place she had to come. So these are the things that has led people to, have this anxiety. More people are even living, more people are now living with high blood pressure than ever in this country than ever before because of a lot of things, because of the insecurity situation. So how do you think the government should handle that? Handle our agriculture, which is, we have states that are called food baskets, but I'm not sure they have they are cup baskets anymore. So what do you think the government should do about this? Okay,
let me start with some states with the potential to feed the country, like Benue, Kogi, and some other parts. I think the same issue of insecurity is affecting production also, because farmers are even scared to even go to the farm because they fear of being kidnapped or being abducted. Even for those who have access to their farm also, reports in the media reveal that some of them will pay harvest levy to these bandit terrorists before they can move out their farm produce to the city center. So it says a lot about this. So
harvest levy,
yeah, need to pay before even taking out your. Of course, you just have to pay. If you don't pay, of course, you record massive loss, and that is enough discouragement to continue to even carry on to even cultivate more in subsequent time. But the issue now is beyond that. Also, you look at the logistics. Also, moving this produce also to the city center or to neighboring states to ensure that this farm produce is already safe because of lack of storage facilities also, because that if the failure to move this produce timely,
they will also cost.
So of course that who will bear the cost. Yes, government also even provided support through the CBN, through the Anchor Borrower program, but how many legitimate?
I'm very suspective of that Anchor Borrower program.
How many legitimate farmers we are even got this support from the CBN? I think that is the question now, because reports now that most of this the CBN are demanding for their money back, funds back from these supposed farmers. So I think that is the issue also. Identifying the real farmers and supporting them. Beyond supporting them, we monitor their progress also. Also, when there are difficulty, you can step in and provide solution to their issues. I think that is very, very important also. In the aspect of subsidy, can you remind me?
Yeah. In the absence of that, insecurity, and also the issue of
putting in place infrastructure, a good road network to ensure that they can move their farm produce timely to the market to be sold at the appropriate time. Also, there's need also for government also to intervene in terms of building storage facilities for these farmers.
That is infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure is very, very important also, because because there are some farm produce during some certain season they are out of the market. But if we can preserve this, of course, it can be available and it will not.
Now we have mangoes coming in.
Yes, now.
And very soon mangoes will just disappear.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be. It should be all
through the year.
All through the year, if you have a good storage facilities for this farm produce to preserve them within some certain period, and also for producers who are willing to even turn around the fruit to trace to something worthwhile. Also, there's need for us to support those who are even going to agro-ally factories also in terms of processing, packaging, okay, maybe to sell out within our neighboring countries.
That brings me to the next question now. Industrialization.
Yes.
You know, there's a need for industrialization now. A lot of countries are moving that way. That okay, there's a need for us to produce and package our own produce. Nigeria is more of a consuming country than an exporting country. So we consume and consume. The only thing we probably export is our raw materials like our crude oil, then some other agricultural raw materials to some other countries. They finish the goods, they now sell back to us, which is quite expensive and all that. So I wonder what you think the government should do in that area. Should there be a private-public partnership?
I think there's nothing wrong about the PPP model because, of course, where the public is bringing out substantial contribution to the table, likewise the private company. Of course, it has worked in several countries. Of course, it will work here also if we adhere to the rules and the laws and the set guidelines and regulation. Yeah, because that is the most important thing. Because oftentimes we hear failures of PPP model in Nigeria. So there's failure of one party in adhering to the set rules and regulation, and that will collapse the business opportunity, and that will deny several citizens right to even earn good income, also contribute, pay their taxes into the government coffer. So there's need for us to fine-tune the PPP model, identify some sectors that will need that the public private partnership will be explored fully, that the benefits will be for the nation.
I've just been told